Greetings collectors, followers and friends, Tom Hughes here with some more thoughts on painting. And it's been, I know it's been a long time, it's maybe over a year, but I'm back. I'm back in Cornwall, in Falmouth to be precise. I'm on Gillinglaze, Gillinglaze Beach. I'm here for a few days with the family on holiday, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to get some practice in before my 4-day workshop teaching plein air on the coast and in the woods in May at the Newland School of Art. And there's still a couple of places left, so if you're interested, you can go to the Newland School of Art website, or you can get there via the link in my Instagram bio. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be great. I've got a lot of teaching booked out for this year, workshops and demos, so it's going to be busy. We had a grim winter, didn't we? Really grim. Oh, I struggled mentally, but the sun is out, it's spring, the clocks have changed, and we're in Cornwall, which is great. So yes, back outside for some trips. What's new? Built a new wet carrier. I can't stop making these. This is 12 by 6, and it's a really nice format to paint in. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. And this is the view, obviously. Gillinglaze. Some people going for a swim already. It's 8 AM on the dot. It was supposed to rain today, which is why I leapt out of bed in excitement, because it's beautiful. So we're going to do this, see how it goes. I do like painting in Bristol, but I prefer painting in Cornwall. I'm hoping we're not going to get too much glare off this board, and we're going to be able to see what I'm doing. So I actually tried to film an episode yesterday. This is a very wide view. I couldn't, however, due to the intense wind. It was just, I painted Fraggle Rock, St Anthony's Lighthouse, and it was sort of, it was cold, windy, and it absolutely deluged with rain just after I made the final brushstroke, which was quite fortuitous, one of the two. So this is much more conducive to talking to you on a camera. I was pleased with the painting yesterday as well, which was, you know, it made it a real shame actually that I couldn't use any of the footage. That there was a ton of wind noise, lots of glare on the painting, and it was just unusable, unfortunately. So not painting site size today for this one. I've got to compress this view if I want to get it all in, which is something I very rarely do. But something I've been thinking more about that I would like to do. So we'll see how that goes. If I had a bigger board, I wouldn't have to compress it, but I have the small one. But I think there is something really nice about painting small. It's quick. So you can cover a lot in a short time, and if the light changes or the weather changes, not a big deal. Right, drawing done. Let's paint. So I'm doing a lot of these botanical paintings that's in the studio at the moment, the Chine series, which I love to do. But they are studio paintings. And studio paintings mean blackout blind down, daylight bulbs on, and after such a long miserable winter, when the sun comes out, to stay in the studio day in day out, I don't think that's a good recipe for happiness. So I think I'm going to do a combination, really. Plein air and studio throughout the year. Otherwise it will get to winter again. And if I've only done a few trips, I'm going to be grumpy. I think I've got about 15 Uberoos left in stock. Just saying, if you did want one, they're going to be gone quite soon. When I do teaching, I tend to sell quite a few. The amount of times I've changed my mind about the size I want to paint is crazy. And of course, every time you change your mind, your frame size changes. Not only your frame size changes, but your board size changes. Your wet carrier size has to change. Everything changes all the time. And I keep getting bright ideas that actually if the board was an inch wider or an inch narrower, that would make all the difference. Which of course is a bit crazy and not true. But I do really like 8x10. He says, bringing 9x7 with him on this trip. And 12x6. Some rather interesting cloud shapes happening up there. So yes, the Newland stuff. It's my first time teaching at and for the Newland School of Art. which is very exciting. It's going to be quite big groups of us going out. I think we're limited to 8 and me on the first couple of workshops, but I think later in the year it will be as many as 12. But yeah, there are a couple of spaces. I can't remember the dates off the top of my head, unfortunately. I like that so many people get up early and just come to the beach. What a lovely thing to do in the morning. Go swimming or walk your dog. One of the reasons I'm painting so close to this wall is to stop people standing behind me and watching. Which I'm afraid I find quite distracting. I think I'm actually getting less tolerant of talking to the public if I'm working outside as I get older. I'm not sure why that is. Just sort of a general grumpiness, probably. I was looking at a few clips of Thoughts on Painting from when it first started, going to London, and it was interesting to watch those. Watch a few clips of those. Me with a dark beard and no bags under my eyes. I can't believe this weather. We were looking at the forecast yesterday in despair, thinking we've come down here for a week and it's going to rain for most of it, but it is absolutely not the case this morning. I hope you can hear the sea. I remember I got a message off a lady who watches Thoughts on Painting, and she said she was disabled. I think I told this story, and she really likes watching Thoughts on Painting because she can't get out, or she can't get out easily, and she can go for a walk on the coast vicariously through watching the channel, which I thought was lovely. No, I think this is a good sized paint. If I ever feel that I'm just trying to cover the board as opposed to very deliberately putting paint down, then I feel that the board's probably too big. Which isn't good. Been changing brushes recently as well due to the experience of doing the chine paintings. I'm getting more into flats. As opposed to filberts. Interesting how the colour's changing in here. I think that's almost the entire thing about plein air. I think if it's about anything, it's observing subtleties. And that's the thing really that I think sets it apart. The look of plein air paintings. If I've done one that I'm proud of, if I feel that it went well, the reason is almost always invariably that there is correctly observed subtlety. That was really bugging me, that bit of cloud. And that bit was, and that bit. Good heavens. I do often think that I'd be better off buying a van and sticking a bed in there. But, you know, running 2 cars, it adds up. And you can hire a car if you really need to. Some very crisp lines out there. Very crisp. I've compressed the drawing a bit on this. Slightly more compact version than what I'm actually seeing. So originally with thoughts on painting, there was one of the reasons I had to stop really was I was just spending an inordinate amount of time editing the thing. And really in hindsight, I think I was putting too much effort into it. And by that I mean there were too many edits, there were too many cuts. An unnecessary amount, and I wasn't making life easy for myself, and really just sort of leaving the camera running like this and chatting. I think it's probably the best bet. I quite like this thing of compacting the view a bit actually. I've always been very strict with myself over the years of, you know, doing things a certain way and maybe doing things a more traditional way, like painting sight size, sticking to that. But it's actually quite enjoyable to compress this. I have a lot of very arbitrary, strict rules in my life, I think, which is a hindrance and a help. Good for discipline, bad for flexibility. I love that green up there. Keep hearing people slagging off sap green, which I've never really understood the hate. I think it's a great colour. Getting a bit worried about the battery life of the GoPro actually. This leave it on all the time idea is going to come in contact with reality when either the card runs out or the battery dies. And then I won't be feeling very clever. Just noticed some rather lovely purple in there. So much going on in this tiny bit of headland. There's a lot of blues. Oh, the other development recently has been I've stopped using turpentine. I was inhaling a lot of fumes and have been over the years, and because I'm, you know, interested in traditional techniques and, you know, or what did Sargent use and all that stuff, I think I was ignoring the health risks actually, and I was getting migraines and feeling awful after prolonged studio sessions specifically, because you're trapped. And I did have, well no, actually I didn't always have the window open. That was one of the problems. It's just very, very stupid really. And I really worry I've given myself brain rot. Not from TikTok, but from turpentine. So I switched to Zest It, which I've tried in the past and didn't get on with in the past, but I'm using it today and it's absolutely fine. Turpentine is a neurotoxin, it turns out. And over a 50-year career, surely that's got to add up into something potentially incredibly unpleasant. And although it's not, you know, it's not the equivalent of the damage of lead pigments, I think it's potentially bad enough to be a reason to just not use it. I mean, why use it if there are alternatives? It doesn't make sense. So Terps is out. tree trunks up there. Can't beat a really cool shadow. No dogs have come up and urinated on my bag yet, which is good. I've had that a few times. I do like this bit of sea wall here. It's got that fence going up. I bring all these brushes, but I do pretty much the whole painting with 2 or 3 brushes. So the battery ran out, so I'm hoping we get this last few seconds of power. I'm quite happy with that painting. Right, see you in the next one. Okay, we're back out at Watergate Bay in Newquay. The weather, not too great. Intermittent showers. Bit grey, bit flat, bit cold. I've got a a down jacket on, and I've got a blanket wrapped around me underneath. Standing still on these coast paths can get a little bit chilly. My son is down there having a surf lesson. You can see, I think he's got the green surfboard down there going into the water. So let's see what we can do. Hey, here comes the sun. Something tells me the light is going to change a lot during this. last splashes of wave. Yeah, I think that's all right. I do enjoy painting out here. It really is fun. There's always glare wherever you stand. Louis still doing a surf lesson down there, and there he is. We're at Watergate Bay. It's really windy, so I think we might have to have music for this episode. Lots of clouds, lights changing. It's going to be a battle, but it should be fun. Oh. It's getting rained on, so I got to stop. I think we'll leave it there.